You ever walk out to your car on a crisp morning, turn the key, and get nothing? Not a crank, not a click, just dead silence? And this is the second battery you've put in this year? Yeah, I've seen that look 1,000 times in my bay. Frustration, confusion, maybe a little panic. Most folks assume the battery's junk, or maybe the alternator's shot. But here's the truth most shops won't tell you up front. Your battery isn't failing. It's being drained. And the culprit isn't some mysterious factory defect. It's usually something small, silent, and totally fixable if you know where to look. Now, before you go blaming the cold or the brand or cheap Chinese parts, let's bust a myth right out the gate. A dead battery does not automatically mean a bad battery. In fact, in over 30 years turning wrenches, I'd say at least 60% of the dead battery comebacks I've handled weren't battery issues at all. They were parasitic drains, tiny, continuous power leaks that slowly bleed your battery dry while your car sits parked. And the scary part? You won't notice it until it's too late, usually at 6 a.m. on a Monday. So what is parasitic drain? Every modern car needs a little juice to keep its brain alive. Things like your radio presets, engine computer memory, alarm system, and clock. That's normal. We call that key offload, and it should be between 20 and 50 milliamps. But cross that 50 milliamp threshold, and you've got a problem. At 100 milliamps, your battery could be dead in under 48 hours. At 200 milliamps, you might not make it through the night. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because the real villains aren't usually the factory systems. Nope. More often than not, it's something you added, or something so simple you'd never suspect it. Take this story. Last fall, a customer rolled in with a 2020 Toyota Camry. Brand new battery, less than 3 months old, and already stone dead. He was furious, thought Toyota sold him a lemon. We tested the battery. Perfect. Alternator? Spot on. So we dug deeper, pulled out the multimeter, let the car sleep for 30 minutes, and checked the draw. 180 milliamps. Way too high. Started pulling fuses, and bingo! The culprit? His $25 Bluetooth OBD2 scanner left plugged into the port under the dash. It never went to sleep. It was wide awake, pulling power 24/7 like a digital vampire. Unplugged it, retested, draw dropped to 28 milliamps. Problem solved. No parts, no labor, just awareness. But that's not the only sneaky drain I've seen. How about the glove box light that stays on because the little plunger switch got stuck? Or the trunk latch sensor failing, tricking the car into thinking the trunk's open so the interior lights never shut off? I had a Mercedes once where the vanity mirror light in the sun visor was the killer. One tiny bulb forgotten for months and it drained a $200 AGM battery clean. Or the guy who wired his dash cam directly to a constant 12-volt source for parking mode, but never realized his camera didn't actually have a low-voltage cutoff. It just kept recording until the battery hit 8 volts and gave up. And don't even get me started on aftermarket stereos. I've lost count of how many times I found an amplifier wired wrong, pulling 300 milliamps even when the car was off. The owner thought it was normal because the shop that installed it said so. Spoiler, it's not. So how do you catch these gremlins yourself without a shop bill? Good news, you don't need fancy gear. Just a basic multimeter, the kind you can get for $15 at any auto parts store, and 20 minutes of patience. Here's how it works. First, make sure your car is fully asleep. That means close all doors, roll up windows, take the key fob far away, some cars stay awake if the fob's nearby, and wait at least 20 to 30 minutes. Modern cars aren't like the old days. They go through a whole sleep cycle where modules power down one by one. Test too soon and you'll get a false high reading. Once it's asleep, pop the hood, disconnect the negative battery terminal and set your multimeter to measure DC amps, usually the 10 amp setting. Then connect one probe to the negative battery post and the other to the disconnected cable. You're now completing the circuit through the meter so it'll show exactly how much current is being pulled. If it's under 50 milliamps, you're golden. If it's over, time to play detective. Start pulling fuses, one at a time, while watching the meter. When the reading drops dramatically, you found your circuit. Then it's just a matter of tracing what's on that fuse. Interior lights, radio, OBD port, aftermarket gear, etc. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes it takes a little digging. But 9 times out of 10, it's something simple. Now, if you're not comfortable doing that, or you just want to prevent trouble before it starts, here's my pro advice. Unplug everything non-essential when you park. That OBD2 dongle? Pull it. Dash cam hardwired without a cutoff? Add a capacitor or switch to switched power. Phone charger left in the USB port? Yeah, some of those draw tiny amounts even when nothing's plugged in. And always double check your interior lights. Open the glove box, pop the trunk, lift the hood. Make sure every little bulb goes off when it should. If you're storing your car for more than a week, maybe it's a weekend cruiser or you're heading on vacation, do yourself a massive favor. Install a battery disconnect switch. It's a $12 part, takes 5 minutes to bolt on, and it cuts all power the second you flip it. No drain, no guesswork, no dead battery when you get back. Or even better, use a smart battery maintainer. Not a trickle charger, but a true maintainer that monitors voltage and pulses only what's needed. That keeps your battery healthy without overcharging it. But wait, here's a twist most folks never see coming. Sometimes the battery isn't being drained, it's being killed by overcharging. Yep, if your alternator's voltage regulator fails, it can pump out 15, 16, even 17 volts instead of the normal 13.8 to 14.4. That cooks the battery from the inside, boiling the electrolyte, warping the plates, and weakens it so badly that even a normal parasitic drain becomes fatal. So if your battery keeps dying but tests fine when charged, check your charging voltage with the engine running. If it's over 14.7 volts consistently, that alternator's on borrowed time. And one last thing, don't ignore the little signs. Dim headlights when the engine's off, slow cranking on cold starts, battery warning light flickering. Those aren't just quirks. They're your car whispering, hey, something's not right. Listen to it. Because at the end of the day, your car's electrical system isn't magic. It's logic, circuits, and physics. And most battery mysteries aren't mysteries at all. They're just overlooked details. The kind of thing you'd never think to check until you're standing in your driveway at dawn, jumper cables in hand, wondering why this keeps happening. So next time your car won't start, don't just throw a new battery at it. Be curious, be methodical, play detective. Because the real fix is usually cheaper, simpler, and way more satisfying than you think. If you've ever been stranded by a dead battery, drop a comment below. What turned out to be the real culprit? Was it an OBD2 dongle, a stuck trunk light, or something even weirder? I read every single one of your stories, and they help me make better videos for all of us gearheads. And if this saved you from a tow truck or a wasted $150 battery, do me a solid. Hit that like button. It tells YouTube this kind of honest, practical advice matters. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell because next week I'm pulling back the curtain on the one oil change myth that's costing drivers thousands in engine repairs. And it's not about mileage, it's about time. And trust me, you've been lied to. Until then, keep your terminals clean, your fuses labeled, and your multimeter handy. This is Tony, the Honest Mechanic, signing off. Stay curious, stay safe, and never let a dead battery ruin your morning again.